Alright guys, welcome to Wednesday's workouts. Wednesday's workouts are what we call chaos. It's how we're going to implement it right now in terms of not being able to rotate around the gym. So what we're going to do is pair two exercises together. The clients are going to go to their spots after they get their tools, and they're going to do two movements. We're going to set the timer for 20 minutes, alright, and they're going to try to get through two exercises. So one exercise will start with 21 reps, the other will start with 3. And what's going to happen is that every time I complete a round, I'll move down the round until I've completed both of those exercises at 321. Then I'll move on to the next pairing of two exercises with the same number of reps. Then I'll move on to the third pairing of two exercises, the same number of reps. So the idea here is that we're going to be moving at a fairly quick pace. So the heart rate's going to get pretty high. Those people that in your classes that are a little bit more experienced or are a little bit fitter, they're going to get through those 6 exercises, or at least close to. The people who aren't quite as fit, they're going to get closer to completing the 4 exercises, not quite getting through the rounds of 6, but that's okay. The goal there is just always to challenge their fitness now that we're doing the chaos. Okay? So let's show you guys what the first 2 exercises look like. We are counting total reps, and I'll show you guys how we can count and go through the rounds. So we've got a set 20-minute timer, and we just leave it. Then from there, the first exercise up is going to be with the kettlebell. So we're going to do either kettlebell RDLs, where we keep that kettlebell in between the feet, break the handle, tall chest, back and forth with the hips, squeezing the glutes at the top. I can progress that to a kettlebell swing. So I'm standing back, get that hip hinge, break the handle, high and tight, tight the zipper, eyes on that kettlebell for the swing. We can also go into what's called a skier swing. So this allows people to start progressing now in terms of weight. So if they're capped out at 50s, they can now do 230s and go to 60 pounds in the swing. So the way this works is I still want to move the hips and weights back together, but now the weights move outside of the body during the swing pattern. The arms move in the same way without them being nice and straight. So skier swing. So I would say I would do 21 of those for that first round. Then I would pair that with my second exercise, which is going to be plank jacks. So I'll go down to that push-up position, and then I would jump out and then back in for 3. Right? There are modifications to this. People can't do plank jacks. We can do toe taps, or we can do hand lifts. Okay? And we're just going to be counting reps as 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And then when I'm done with that, I go back to my first exercise. I'm going to do 18. Then I go back to plank jacks. I would do 6. All right? And then I work my way down. Kettlebell swings goes down as plank jacks go up. All right? So that's going to be the first pairing of 2 exercises. The second pair of 2 exercises is what we call a gorilla row, okay, paired with then lunges. So the gorilla row is thinking about getting that good hip in, bringing that chest. This is going to really start to teach people to get that chest down, get it horizontal, grab the kettlebell, it can be a medicine ball, pull it straight in the base of that rib cage with those elbows nice and tight to the body. So same philosophy, 21 reps, right? If they need to use a medicine ball, they can. Good squeeze on it, right there, tapping that lower part of the stomach right here. 21 reps. Now you're gonna have some people who can't get in that position, it's just awkward for them. Then go back to the 3-point row like we do on Monday, okay? Where we're gonna put the foot back, helps keep that back flat, and then it'll break up their rows. Let's think about 10 on one arm, 11 on the other, and then they're gonna be moving through the rounds like that, okay? That exercise is paired with lunges. So if they can do it weighted, they can keep their weight from the gorilla row with them as they hold down the goblet style and then step back into lunges. That'll count as 1, that'll count as 2 as they count their way through the rounds. And I would do 3 lunges, back to my rows, I'll then do 18, right? Not everyone's going to be able to do reverse lunges, especially now with weight. That's okay. Some people can do it unweighted. So they're going to step back, lower those knees. Some people are going to have to do split squats. All right, so that's just stationary. Maybe 1, 2, 3. The next one, starting to split those up a little bit. Whatever way works best with individuals with odd numbers. I know sometimes it gets a little bit confusing. Okay? Even further still, people are going to require some assistance. Not everybody's going to need these. You might have people who are really bad with lunges. So they're just going to hold on to a stick. It's going to help them stay tall because they're going to naturally see them want to do this. And they go into a lunge position, they don't really bend in that back knee. So we're going to keep them tall, stepping back, lowering, and that stick then helps provide some strength and stability for the lunge pattern that they're missing. Okay, so that's the second pairing of 2 exercises. The goal is to try to get through as many as possible. The final pairing of exercises, a little bit more on the corrective side of things, is we're going to be doing some seated seated, I think I believe it's seated band pull-aparts with Supermans. So seated here is really gonna make it so they can't cheat this exercise and use their lower back. They grab the band, they can always make it easier though in terms of resistance by dropping one of the part of the band, so you go 2 or 1. They're gonna pull all the way out till it touches the chest, then back together, and then all the way back out so those arms are nice and straight. We wanna make sure we're keeping those shoulders down, pulling them back, and pinching those shoulder blades. So we'll knock out 21 of those. This is gonna be a surprisingly tough exercise, so people are gonna think they can do this like with blacks or double band red, but they're eventually gonna go down to a single band red because of how challenging this movement pattern actually is on the posterior shoulder. Okay? So you're gonna do 21 of those. Then we go into what's called the Superman. Right? So that's gonna be laying on your stomachs. You're gonna keep that core tight. You're gonna lift with your lats and then your glutes. So lats, you're lifting those arms as I pinch up, and then I'm using my glutes to lift those legs up the ground, and then I'm gonna do 3 of those, and then get back into my seated position for 18, and then back into my Supermans, then again for 6. On that one, we're just not trying to really arch the back of the Supermans. It's hard, but we want to keep that core tight and that ribcage down when we're performing that movement. And that's the workout portion. All right, everyone, we're going to be going over the finisher now for Wednesdays. The finisher on Wednesdays is a one pattern, and it's going to be for burning out that one pattern. So what we're going to be doing today is squats. So the goal here is to grab a weight fairly heavy, so we want it to be challenging. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to do a timer-based finisher. So they're going to squat for 60 seconds. Then they have 15 seconds rest, something very similar to that. Then they're going to go for 50. Then it's 15 seconds rest again, 40, 50 seconds rest again, 30, 50 seconds again, 20, 50 seconds rest, 10. And they're gonna work their way all the way down that ladder. So the hardest progression there is to grab the kettlebell in the goblet style. Remember, feet a little bit wider than shoulder width. You're gonna sit down, make sure we're getting those eyes up, butts down. We're gonna make sure we're getting at least 90 degrees in those squats. So for the people who can squat well in the goblet style, we want as many as possible with a heavier weight. There will be some people who maybe can't go quite heavy into kettlebells. We can recommend then medicine balls. But we want to make sure that we're giving it a good hug. Shoulder blades are pulled back and then down into those squats. We want to make sure that whatever version they choose, they're giving you a good squat pattern. Some people will have to do body weight. They're just not quite ready to load this exercise, and that's fine. But we even be some people who need to make this assisted, the TRX. So have them lean back. We're going to show you guys what a speed squat is. So speed squat in that 60 seconds is leaning back more so they can get a greater thigh burn inside of that 60 seconds because we are now making this exercise in that assisted range. So we're going to be squatting and we're going to get pretty tired and pretty sore, but we're going to really try to work that squat pattern during the finisher.